In any place that students gather, you hear it. My apartment has gross mold. I'm paying a fortune to live in a closet. And when rental agents get together, it's the same. Students wreck the place. They don't take out the garbage. My tenant took off without paying his electric bill. We wanted to know, what's a legal complaint and a required response? Do you really know what you're getting yourself into when you sign a lease? Your potential new landlord and the history of your new place should be looked into. However, that's not usually the case for college students. Some sign leases a year or two in advance without doing their research. Once students settle into their new living space, they often have complaints about their unit and their landlords. But is it reasonable for students to feel that way?
Like, we didn't know broken tiles weren't up to code.
Are rental companies actually treating them unfairly, or are students asking too much out of their short-term stays? Bryson, McGillis, Ben Duvall, and their 3 roommates live together on Palmer Street. Duvall worked for Best of Athens Rentals and has experience dealing with tenants' issues.
I've come to the conclusion that a lot of people take situations and blow them out of proportion, but I definitely think depending on the situation, it needs to be followed up in a timely manner. In other situations, I'm sure you could decide on whether or not it's a clear thing that needs to be taken care of at the moment.
The group of 5 has not had any serious issues with their house or landlord. However, they still think that landlords should be proactive with their properties.
I think that a landlord should be taking care of anything other than, something that you deliberately broke or something that you let go for a long time and then someone got hurt over.
Tenants often have problems but don't know the proper steps to take when solving them. Athens Code Enforcement Director Rick Soroyce understands mold and drafty doors may be annoying, but they aren't code violations.
Now, if it's a simple thing as fixing a door screen, we don't worry about that small stuff. Okay, that's not a huge issue. Now, when it comes to heat, we would have documented that.
Soroyce and his code enforcement officers focus on health and safety, which is a concern Taylor Rourke and her roommates have battled with for nearly a year with their rental company.
And our house was actually not listed underneath the inspection sheet, and that's originally what made us go to code. Like, the fact that, our house was not anywhere to be seen on this past year's inspection list from code themselves.
Code violations included broken cabinetry and walls not connecting to the floor. During our time at the house, Rourke took me on a walkthrough to show issues that were resolved after city code enforcement officers conducted an inspection.
It was completely indented as though something had fallen on it, which I didn't really know if that was an issue. Code said it was, but it was never something we looked at.
Why would it be an issue with code if it was indented, do you know?
I don't know. I can show you the railing coming out, like this dude. But the bottom part sticks, so we kind of just leave it and hope it doesn't fall. All of this gray stuff is the fixing of the tiles they put in, but it was...
So what was wrong with the tiles, you said?
The tiles were just chipped, so wherever this gray...
And that was a code
violation
that the tiles were chipped, so they put this gray stuff to kind of mesh it together.
So if you look here at the door handle, here's the lock, which is very helpful. So they put the lock on the wrong side.
Oh my.
So we can lock people in the bathroom. And the wood around the door is also new because they put the door in and it was slanted, and it didn't fit. So the new door that they put in from scratch didn't fit.
Wow. We're going up?
Yep.
Hollow stairs?
So this stair.
At any moment, if you step too hard. That is hollow. So almost everything is fixed, sort of.
Maybe? I mean, I would be less mad if our rent was like $300, $400, but the fact that this is like a $500 house, that even with all of the issues, they're not willing to bring it down and they're bringing it up for the next people, that shit really makes me more frustrated than anything else. It's like you know they're taking college students for what they can get.
For a house that wasn't up to code when they moved in, the roommates are paying a total of $24,000 for the year. This total does not include the cost of utilities. Renters that are fed up with their current living conditions might not know where to go for help. The Athens City Code Enforcement is one of the places to start gathering information.
Addressing it with the landlord, documenting, taking pictures, documenting. Address it again with the landlord. If they doesn't have reasonable response in 2 weeks, they should call us.
Ethan Gower was a renter with the same company as Taylor during his junior year. His experience with the company left him understanding the importance of researching potential rental properties. Gower had no heat for the entirety of winter. He was so fed up that he decided to withhold paying rent. His rental company threatened to sue and evict him over the no payment. And legally they could because he didn't take the proper legal steps necessary when choosing not to pay rent.
Still don't have heat installed. I've told you that's why you don't have this rent, is because I still don't have heat since October, and we're speaking in February. My demands it's a pretty short list. I'm cold.
Renters can withhold rent from their rental company if maintenance issues aren't resolved within 30 days. But renters must give their money to a lawyer for it to legally be withheld. So what is the process to take when your rental company isn't keeping up with the rental unit? First, document everything. As soon as you move in, write down and take pictures of anything that looks like it could cause problems in the rental unit. Next, contact your landlord. Whether it's through email, in person, or over the phone, code enforcement is not able to do anything unless you talk with your landlord first. If you don't get a reasonable response from your landlord within 2 weeks, then contact code enforcement. From there, code enforcement will contact your landlord to inspect the unit together to uncover all the code issues. Ethan's previous landlord did not respond to our attempt for an interview. However, we did get a hold of Christy Goldsberry, a landlord who strives to upkeep her property to avoid maintenance issues.
In your lease, and all leases are different, mine is structured so that the tenant is required to contact me within a certain amount of time if there is a problem.
Goldsberry has had her real estate license for more than 20 years. She has owned commercial properties for the majority of that time and just opened a new apartment complex, The Flats on Carpenter Street. With experience owning commercial property, she knows her responsibility to her tenants.
I am required by law to follow up and make sure it gets done. But if a tenant does not call, and they're required to, according to their lease, then they're responsible for all the damages that occur.
Despite common misperceptions, landlords do have to take care of problems that arise on their properties.
You're required, as the landlord, per your lease and per the Athens City Code requirements, to keep your property up to code.
The ultimate goal for students looking to find a place to live off campus is to find the best available place. In order to find the right fit for you and your future roommates, there are some common steps renters can take.
Read through the whole contract, know what you're signing for, I guess.
I think that probably talking, not necessarily a lawyer, but getting some outside real estate help would probably be a good step before signing a lease.
Before you sit down to sign the lease, ask for a copy of the lease, review it, show your parents, make sure that you have good roommates.
And probably the most important piece of advice, don't wait until the last minute. It's a small town market, and in the college towns, and most students in Athens will tell you, if you haven't signed a lease a year in advance, you may be out of luck. Reporting for Newswatch at Noon in Depth, I'm Micah Upshaw.